Good day and welcome to Just Pray Over It. I'm Cindy Shaw, coming to you from beautiful Tennessee. I was 5 years old, going to kindergarten. I was so excited. I'll never forget that red, white, and blue dress and my hair in these big long ponytails. My parents decided to have a second family, meaning my oldest sister was 13 years older than I am, only because they needed a Social Security check. 3 children gave them an extra $110 a month because my dad was disabled. I know my father was in pain in more ways than you can imagine looking back now as a Christian and an adult. He loved my mother, or was he so afraid she would walk out on him again, leaving all 3 of his children behind? Once again, knowing he couldn't afford to support us. I knew he drank a fifth of Canadian Club and ginger ale a day and took Secondol, a drug they no longer make because it was so strong that they had to take it off the market. But when his nerves were pressed, say for example, Mom didn't have her candy bar in the refrigerator, or I got feeding the dog my lima beans, or I stuck a pea in the outlet in the wall because I didn't like peas, or I didn't do something as expected, where they were arguing, and Mom said, "You wasted all the money at the dog track," or "You're drunk, you drank too much," I knew I was getting the belt. For many years, when my little brother and sister were real young, I would just say, "I did it." I never wanted them to feel that pain. The worst wasn't the belt, the welts. It was Dad picking me up from kindergarten, and he would have my baby brother in the car sometimes, unless my sister Carol was home, which was rarely. He would head to the local bar in the hot Florida heat from 2 to 4:30 p.m., where we would sit in the station wagon with nothing to drink, sweating, just very hot. Sometimes he had a bottle of juice for my brother. Sometimes he did not. But he always had diapers. Remember those cloth diapers with the big pins? It would get so hot, I would wipe the sweat off his forehead with them. I remember it choking me up to this day. But we always managed to leave on time to pick my mother up from work at 4:30 p.m. sharp. He was at the car, ready to drive to the hospital, after God knows how many cc's. On occasion, he would bring us out a bag of chips or a cherry Coke. Actually, if I recall correctly, he called them Shirley Temples. But that was for a really great day and far and few between. Sometimes even the guys at the bar felt bad for us and would bring us out something to drink, even a glass of water. But we always made it to the hospital where Mom worked on time. If not, it was not a good day. And after Dad would pick up Mom, it would depend on how much screaming and yelling was happening and how the night was going to happen. That's when we decided what kind of day Mom had. My oldest sister, now 18, was 1 foot out the door, either in school or working. The other one, 3 years younger than her, you never knew where she was or what she was doing. 9 out of 10 times, she was under my friend's bed after sneaking in her window, scaring her to death, saying, "Em, can I spend the night?" Because she'd crawled and scared her. It was so funny looking back on it now. But when Dad was mad, it was usually because something stupid. Mom didn't have a candy bar. The coffee was cold. The minute she walked in the house, Dad took her shoes off, had her slippers there for her, and gave her a cup of hot coffee. Cooked dinner every single night of the week. Before coming to get me from school, unless it was canned peas or boiled potatoes and a plain fried pork chop or something. But we always had the dessert, cup of mixed fruit or pears out of the can, or Jell-O, something. But by now, if there was one thing Dad said or Mom didn't like that happened, the belt was coming out and it was taken out on us, unless Mom was on a roll. You see, not only would I get the belt for stupid nonsense, I was actually afraid to even go to sleep. I was made fun of through the 2nd grade. I was made fun of about the smell of smoke being on me because my parents were chain smokers. The first time I brought that up, my legs had welts. Then I was scared to death to go to sleep. Not just because of that, because I was afraid I would pee in the bed. First, my parents would not allow me to bathe in the morning. Second, I would get spankings that would later turn to beatings. This went on through the 2nd grade. I was scared I didn't tell anyone yet. They never brought me to a doctor. They told me I was lazy. But much later in life, my latter 50s, I found out I had one kidney much, much smaller than the other, and I had PKD, polycystic kidney disease. That's the main reason I came to Tennessee, was to take care of someone who was in the latter stages. It's not a pretty thing to watch one on dialysis and finally pass due to other complications. But the memories of not going to sleep all night, falling asleep in class, and having to get tutored to read lingered for years to come. My poor older sister cried and said had she known, she would have taken me to the doctors. She blamed herself for me having PKD. I felt so bad for her. As I was saying, my mother was an entire different ballgame. She never told me or my older sister that she loved us. She never had the talk with us. She never told us anything. She was so very selfish. While she demanded all these clothes and shoes and her hair done in this special treatment, when she wasn't getting what she wanted, she slept all day Saturday, all day Sunday, so we never went to church. And I have horrid memories of my mother slamming cabinets, us hiding in our room, her trying to kill herself multiple times, her being in the hospital from overdoses. She left us multiple times. But Dad did try to shield us by either us having to go outside or to stand on a stool and hang clothes up on the clothesline or to pick weeds in the front yard. Unless she quickly got to her slipper to hit us or a spatula first, I can't recall one meal my mother cooked in our house, other than her making a fruit salad. And you would think she built the Taj Mahal. If the house ever got cleaned, it wasn't her, it was us. All the laundry was me. The yard work was me until my brother was old enough to push a lawnmower. He was not to do any inside work. No dishes, no floors, no polishing. That's not a man's job. So this is the beginning of my testimony. But the child still had scars, memories, shame, and no self-esteem or self-confidence until the day I was saved, which was much, much later in life, as you will hear about much later on. Actually, it only lightened it tremendously. I've had great counseling for many, many years, a great friend in Christ. A great friend named Becky walked into my life, which you will hear about her much later. But what a sister in Christ I had with her and still have to this day. She always made me feel a bit safer. Then came Josie. She was my spiritual mom, and she was always the mom I wanted, and she would always be the mom I would want. When I met my husband last December, they both gave me the talk. Boy, do I love them. They are everything a friend and a mom should always and will always be to me. How many children do you think run away due to these circumstances? What do you think happens to them? What if the father or mother cared but couldn't afford to leave the situation. My father couldn't afford to raise 3 children on $110 a month. How many are just a paycheck away from being homeless? How many are sleeping in their cars? How many do you think will go from the frying pan to the fire because they don't think they deserve on the better? But this is the story that truly broke my heart. An elderly woman was lying behind Walmart during Christmas with her tent and all her belongings, which fit in a grocery cart, because her husband had beaten her and she had a restraining order. Now understand, it's cold. It's very cold. Outside, it was 0 degrees with the wind chill factor, and she has no money to get to a hotel or go into a hotel, and no job skills because she was to stay away from home. She was a stay-at-home wife. So she was arrested. She went in front of the judge and was fined $2,000. Seriously, most homeless are charged $185 in the state of Florida. First of all, she's too old to work it off, so they will put her on a bench warrant soon. Why didn't they just have a social worker help her and place her in a nursing facility? The state's federal government has grants for these situations. Instead, she will have a record. Merry Christmas to her. Let me now explain a little bit of our background. As I've told you, we want to help displaced women and children. My husband is an ordained pastor and a pastoral counselor in many areas. I've mentored many types of people with different diversity and skill levels and no skill levels. We are Christians. We love all people. Our goal is to help women and children, for women to learn a skill or a task that can be used in the workforce, how to go through the interview process, get counseling if they need counseling, and how they need it. Find Christ. Work a program to keep things orderly and clean. If they need help to learn to teach their children or how to raise their children, we are there to help them do that in a safe environment. Get the children and the women fed, get shots current through local volunteer doctors and dentists, get children in Head Start, schools, and on-site daycare with a learning program teaching the fundamentals of the ABCs, the 1, 2, 3s, yes ma'am, no ma'am, thank you, please. Grace before meals, scheduled meal times, the Pledge of Allegiance. Our goals are not to keep them here. Our goal is to rehabilitate them. If the children need counseling, it will be provided. Then they can become self-sufficient in housing based on their income needs. We are a registered nonprofit LLC and a 508c1a. So we are able to build this ministry. You may donate to us at PayPal at Hearts of Hope NLLC. That's PayPal at Hearts of Hope N as in Nancy LLC. Or visit Hearts of Hope website and listen to my husband's sermons and testimonies. I think you will truly enjoy them. He's pretty fantastic, if I have to say so myself. Just don't tell him that. One gives freely, yet grows all the richer. Another withhold what he should give, and only suffers want. Proverbs 11:24. My testimonies are always going to be about my life from the age of 5 growing up to the age I am now. They are not going to be easy testimonies for me, but they are going to be testimonies that are true. They are going to be testimonies that are honest and raw. But they are going to be testimonies that I hope will help each and every one of you. But if I touch just one life and one person can relate to what I've gone through, I've done my job for that day. I will be praying over each and every one of you, and I hope that I have touched just one of you. This is Cindy Lou signing off with Just Pray Over It. Have a very blessed evening and day.